The second thing that's important for you to know is that imposter syndrome is quite simply due to you practicing an old self-concept. You've been in a habit of seeing yourself a certain way, and so you can change that. And a simple exercise you can do to change your self-concept is actually by just changing your focus. Some people think that they have to kind of invent this imaginary version of themselves where they're so much better than they actually are, and start living as like completely in the illusion or the assumption that they are this pretend version of themselves. Whereas actually, no. My approach to changing your self-concept is to just change the true things about you that you've been focused on. What I mean by that is, at this very moment in time, there are many things that are true about you. It might be true that you're not good at A, B, and C, and it can also be true at the same time that you are very good at X, Y, and Z. What I mean by that is that at every moment in our life, we have a choice of what aspects of ourselves we choose to hyper focus on. So if you've been in a habit of focusing on all of your worst traits, on all of the reasons why you're not a good person or you're not good enough, then your perception of yourself is such. You will feel low in confidence, you will feel like a loser, you will feel like an imposter when you're in certain environments. Whereas right now, you can change the aspects of yourself that you've been focusing on. I'm not saying completely lie to yourself and ignore those aspects. I'm just suggesting that you don't, pin your heart to them, that you don't sort of make it your identity that you're useless and crap at these things. Okay, cool. You're a human, you have some imperfections. That's all the attention we need to give that. Meanwhile, practice hyper-focusing on all of the things that you are great at, that you have overcome, things about yourself that you're proud of, things about yourself that you actually quite like. And I challenge you, if you feel like, yes, I'm talking to you, maybe you've been in a habit of beating yourself up and focusing on all of your flaws, my challenge to you, and this will help you, this will work, this will help you to change your self-concept for good. Get a piece of paper, or several, and write down 100 things about yourself that you are proud of, that you admire, that make you a good person, that are skills that you have, that are things that you are good at. And it might be a little bit hard at the beginning to write 100 because you've just been out of practice on giving yourself credit and focusing on those things. But if you stick with it and you don't stop writing until you complete that list of 100, you will find at some point between 1 and 100, the floodgates will start to open. You'll find yourself, you'll start to get into the flow of it, and your brain will start recognizing all of the ways that you are actually a really good human. Then keep that list close to you. Remind yourself, whenever you need a boost, read that list of 100 things that make you awesome. This will help you to change your perception of exactly who you are right now, even before you've taken another step, even before you've got more skills or got even better. What you're doing is you are shifting the way that you see yourself. By the way, you could go out and you could get 10 more qualifications, but if you don't do this exercise, you're still going to be hyper-focused on all the ways that you're not good enough. Has anyone found that, by the way, where you think, I just need to take one more? My microphone just stopped working, so I'm now using my camera's built-in microphone, and I think this is a perfect working example, thank you universe, that I don't need the fancy mic to be able to complete this video. So, has anyone found that, by the way, where you're in a constant cycle of thinking, I need one more qualification. I mean, I know that obviously in some lines of work, you literally do need the qualification to be able to, you know, operate on someone's brain or something. Like, I get that. But for people who are not in those kinds of fields of work where actually you are more than good enough, you could absolutely help people with the way that you are, but you're almost reaching for another qualification and another qualification to kind of make you feel good enough about yourself because you think no one's going to take you seriously unless you have that. Like, get the qualifications if you want to get them. I fully support you becoming the best master of your craft, but just know that if you don't change what you're focused on with regards to yourself, if you don't practice seeing yourself through a more powerful lens, you will continue to be chasing that and you will never not feel like an imposter, because you'll have a bunch of qualifications and then you'll feel like an imposter for having those qualifications. I've reached a point now where I am very aware that I have multiple identities. I sometimes feel like a powerful woman who's great at what she does, and other times I feel like the scared, awkward teenager that I once was. And other times I feel like the scared girl who was always called a weirdo in the playground. And I've now come to terms with the fact that all those versions of me can exist. I almost picture us all in the car together. And sometimes the awkward teenager or the scared girl are driving the car. And when I notice it, when I realize that they're in the driver's seat of my life, I just gently and kindly thank them for trying to do that, and I just put them in the passenger seat. And in my imagination I say to them, it's okay, you don't have to drive the car, just sit down, you're safe, enjoy the ride, I'm here. And I let the most powerful woman version of me, that identity, resume control and sit in the driver's seat and put her hands around the wheel and drive with power and confidence. And it did take a lot of healing, it took a lot of breath work, it took a lot of practice to get to this point where I can distinctly see and feel the different versions of myself and then choose to feel confident again. But I also think that anyone could potentially do that. I think that at any moment you can choose to practice letting yourself feel powerful and realizing that that is a version of you who does exist, even if you haven't been practicing choosing her very often. And with practice of choosing her over and over again, choosing to feel like her, choosing to embody her, choosing to acknowledge her, choosing to put the scared little version of you in the passenger seat while the most powerful version of you takes the wheel, gradually, with practice, your most confident identity will become the strongest and most dominant version of you.